Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me now? So I, Dr. Pramila Kaushal, extend a very warm welcome to Mr. Prateek Sharma and Mr. Shivam Sundaram. We are extremely grateful to all the delegates who have joined us today, and my heartiest congratulations to all of them. At this point of time, I just want to thank Dr. S.P. Ahuja, who has facilitated Indo-Global Group of Colleges as a nodal center for these virtual labs. And we are successfully conducting this for the last so many sessions now. So I am extremely thankful to Mr. Prateek Sharma and Mr. Shivam Sundaram for today's session. So thank you very much. I am sure all the delegates and the students, they will be extremely benefited. So let's continue with the webinar.
And accepting our request, I am thankful to Mr. Prateek as Mr. Shivam for accepting our request for organizing this event for the students as well as faculty and HODs. So,
thank you so much, sir. So on the behalf of Virtual Labs, I welcome each and every participant to this particular webinar. My name is Prateek Sharma.
Sir, 1 minute, Paul. I also more participants are also there. I also welcome all the head of the departments, our Dean Academics, Principal Ma'ams and other students for this event. So thank you very much for joining this event, sir. And now handing over the mic to you. Please proceed ahead so we can start the event right now.
Thank you so much. So now, so now we'll begin this particular webinar. So in today's webinar, we'll understand the basic idea about virtual labs, and we'll see that as a user, how while sitting safely at our place, we can explore all the virtual experiments that are hosted on our platform. So we'll see certain presentation part first of all, the idea about and after we get the idea about virtual labs, we'll go for the demonstrations part. So with me is my colleague, Mr. Shivam Sundaram, and from here, he'll take on the session. So Mr. Shivam, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so Shivam, please continue.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Shivam. I work for Virtual Labs IIT Delhi. So today I'm going to give you a brief introduction on what is Virtual Lab and how can you develop yourself using this particular platform. Before starting the session, I would like to tell you how the session will go for today. In the first half, I will show you a small PPT which will give you an exact idea about what exactly Virtual Lab is. In the second half, I will demonstrate some of the experiments to you. Now let's elaborate the term Virtual Lab. What could be virtual, which is not physically present, and lab, where we do some sorts of experimentations, right? So altogether, you can say Virtual Lab is a platform where you can perform the experiments virtually. So we will move on with the PPT part, first of all.
आपका माइक बंद हो गया, मैम कभी नहीं चाहिए.
So, Virtual Labs is an initiative taken by Ministry of Human Resource and Development under the edges of National Mission on Education through ICT, which is Information and Communication Technology. I hope everyone is aware about MHRD. It's a Government of India wing. As we know, day by day, there's a gradual increase in number of technical institutions per year. So the number of engineering graduates passing per year is very high.
Interrupting you in between, sorry, Prateek sir, principal man was disconnected at that time. She want to say something to you, please.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am, please speak.
Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Can you hear me now? So I, Dr. Pramila Kaushal, extend a very warm welcome to Mr. Prateek Sharma and Mr. Shivam Sundaram. We are extremely grateful to all the delegates who have joined us today, and my heartiest congratulations to all of them. At this point of time, I just want to thank Dr. S.P. Ahuja, who has facilitated Indo-Global Group of Colleges as a nodal center for these virtual labs. And we are successfully conducting this for the last so many sessions now. So I am extremely thankful to Mr. Prateek Sharma and Mr. Shivam Sundaram for today's session. So thank you very much. I am sure all the delegates and the students, they will be extremely benefited. So let's continue with the webinar.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, I was there. As we know, day by day, there's a gradual increase in number of technical institutions per year. So the number of engineering graduates passing per year is very high. Still, we are not getting the jobs. What is the main reason behind it? Somewhere we lag behind the practical knowledge and we are focused on the theoretical ones just in order to pass the exam. And we are also aware about day-to-day situation of COVID-19 pandemic. Multiple job vacancies are driven away from the market and the competition level is very high in the industrial market. So in order to overcome this, Virtual Lab has collaborated with various research institutions across the nation to fill out the gap areas what the students are facing. Now talking about the quality education for all, whatever the labs you are going to assess over here is developed in such a way, or you can say has gone through various level of quality checks, which is done by various prominent professors of IITs. An equal opportunity is served to each and every student, whether the student come from IIT background or non-IIT background. Both are using the same platform. So moving on to the next slide. So these are the salient features of Virtual Lab. Anytime, anywhere lab. You can access this lab at any point of time, at any place. I request everyone to please turn off your mic. So these labs are free to use. You don't have to pay a single penny in order to use Virtual Lab platform. Now, a question strikes to your mind. How can you assess these particular labs and what are the requirements? So there are only two requirements. One is a good internet connection. Another one is a device. Either it could be a PC or a laptop. Surprisingly, some of the features you can access on your smartphone as tablet as well. Now it is developed in self-learning mode. What does this mean? Whatever the labs in this particular you are going to assess is developed in such a way that you don't need anyone's assistance or guidance. You are your own teacher over this particular platform. You can do n number of innovations in a Virtual Lab platform, like there are certain boundaries in physical labs. You have to revolve around that boundaries. But talking about Virtual Lab platform, you can do the stuff out of the box. We have more than 100 virtual labs and multiple more are in the pipeline. Sooner you will find some of the more new labs. Moving on to the next slide. I request everyone to please turn off the mic. Okay. So these three are the motivations of Virtual Lab platform: physical distance limit doing experimentation. So there's a distance between a physical lab and a user. So this can. I request please to turn off your mic. Okay. So in order to perform something, there must be a motivation. So like somehow you are doing your BTech degree just in order to become a good engineer. So your motivation is to become a good engineer, right? So these are the three motivations of Virtual Lab platform: physical distance limit doing experimentations, like there's a distance between a physical lab and a user. This can be bridged up through a Virtual Lab platform. If I give you another example for the day-to-day scenario, like somehow while sitting back at your home, you cannot go to physical lab, right? And assess the equipments. So similarly over here, what you can do, simply you can just bridge between the physical lab through a Virtual Lab platform. Now, second is the sharing of costly equipments. Certain equipments are very costly, so they are fewer in number in our institute. What happens? We are grouped in 4 or 5 just in order to have access on that particular equipment. So 2 of the students are performing on it and rest 3 are just watching. Somehow they lag behind certain of the important points. So this can be also overcome through Virtual Lab platform, where each and every student is getting a single dedicated equipment. Now, third one is the proliferation of quality labs. I hope everyone is aware about this particular term, proliferation. If not, I'm going to elaborate it, write it now. So proliferation means a rapid increase. So rapid increase in the quality of labs. Over here, you can see. So what like certain of the labs sharing a common topic is developed by 2 or different institutes. If one of the institute has not covered a certain point, covered by another institute. So you can see a variety of learning over here. Moving on to the next slide. So this is the basic idea behind Virtual Lab project. As you can see, n number of remote users access this Virtual Lab platform through a good internet connection. At the very bottom of the screen, you will find 2 hands. One is the real hand, another one is the robotic hand. So what is the resemblance of it? Somewhere we are trying to meet the reality through virtuality. Moving on to the next slide. So these are the objectives of Virtual Lab project. It provides you remote access to various disciplines of science and engineering. You can remotely access any of the domains of science and engineering, even though there's no restriction, like communication discipline student, they need to have a knowledge of computer science as well for the coding part. Multiple companies ask for these coding skills as well for the electronics and communication engineering. Now, there's a mandatory part they have to learn these computer skills or the programming skills. So somehow they can explore any of the disciplines after completing their disciplines over here at this particular platform. So that will enhance your knowledge. Now, who all can attend this particular platform? Are UG level students, PG level students, as well as research scholars. But we are focused on the UG level as this is a building block. Now, for every class, there are two types of students we find. One is the fast learner and the other was the slow learner. Fast learner, in order to learn that particular topic, they require a time, or you can say multiple times. So you can, what they can do over here, if you want to spend 5 minutes of yours in a particular topic, you're allowed to do that. But if you need 2 hours on that particular topic, left your lectures, previous lecture, so you are not going to get complex within this particular thing. So talking about the curiosity, the UI of this particular platform is designed in such a way that it makes it interactive to learn the things. Now, it's a complete learning management system. Each and everything you will find at a single place, like video lectures, web resources, animations, and even though you can self-evaluate yourself over here. Moving on to the next. This is the comparison between a physical lab and a virtual lab on the basis of these following factors: cost, availability, third one is the user experience. If we talk about the cost, in order to establish a physical lab, we require a lakh of rupees. And talking about virtual lab platform, it's almost nil. In physical labs, you have to invest on the equipments, heavy duty equipments. That would require more than lakh of rupees. But if I ask about virtual lab platform, it's almost nil. Just you need a good internet connection and a device. Talking about availability, not every time physical labs are available. It's limited in time and space. Like if I ask right now, can you have access to your physical lab? The answer would be probably no. But if I talk about virtual lab platform, it is designed in such a way that you can access this 24/7, whenever you want, wherever you want. Now, talking about the experimentations, there's limited options for innovations. Like there are certain do's and don'ts while you are entering to your physical labs. You have to perform that do's and don'ts. So there are certain restrictions. You have to revolve around that restrictions. But talking about virtual lab platform, it provides you a wider and a safer options for innovation. Like whatever the thing strikes to your mind related to that particular experiment, you can just apply on it. So giving an example, better example to understand it better way. So can you short circuit a battery in physical lab? The answer would be probably no. But if I talk about virtual lab platform, you can do these things and you can get to know the outcome, what could be the outcome while performing these things. Now, fourth one is the user experience. Like for physical labs are the best and virtual labs are the second best. Why is it so? After all, I'm coming from virtual lab background. I'm still saying that the virtual labs are the second best and physical labs are the best. Look, students, we are not here to replace a physical lab. Virtual lab is an add-on thing to the physical lab. There are certain things which cannot be done in virtual lab. Like if I ask, do we have such kind of, if we mix two chemicals, there's a pungent smell or the fume comes out it. So do we have that much of advanced technology or the device that would your computer or the device would emit such kind of smell? No. Like if I give you another example, like at what pressure you have to hold a test tube, that cannot be done in a virtual lab platform. You will get an idea about it, but in physical labs, these things can be done. So it's in the real time you can have. So what I suggest is that before going to the physical lab, you can have the access on the virtual lab and perform the experiments quickly, so that in physical lab, when you go to the physical lab, you can do the experiments very quickly, and rest of the time of the physical lab, what you can do, you can have a conversation with your faculty members while having your queries sorted. So there are three types of virtual labs, starting from modeling and simulation based labs, measurement based labs, and third one is the remote triggered one. So modeling and simulation based labs are those types of labs where you will get a certain set of equation. According to that set of equation, you will get the simulated result with the help of open based softwares which are freely available on the internet. Second one is the measurement based labs and widely found in virtual lab platform. So measurement based labs are those types of lab where you can give your own desired input to get the valuable output, or you can say the precise answers for the calculative part of the experiment, right? Third one is the remote triggered, and the interesting one. I give you a scenario like all across the India, there's only one equipment placed at IIT Kharagpur, and you want to have the hands-on on that particular equipment. What you have options? Either you have to go there, ask the faculty members or the assigned authority to have the hands-on on that particular equipment. A second option is that you can remotely access that particular equipment in the real time through a remote triggered lab. Whatever the values you are entering in the real time, that would be entered into that particular machine, and you will get to know the output, right? But for every advantage, there's a disadvantage. Like for remote triggered lab, if I as a user is using this particular remote triggered lab, no one else can access it in the real time. But talking about measurement based labs and modeling simulation based labs, number of users can access labs in the particular duration of closer to scalability as I compare for the modeling and simulation based. And if I talk about closer to reality, so remote triggers are closer to reality as compared to modeling, simulation, and measurement based labs. Moving on to the next. College students, high school students, different engineering colleges, researchers in different institutes. Moving on to the next. So these are our participating institute. IIT Delhi is the main coordinating center for virtual lab platform with various 7 IITs and private and deemed universities. The hall probe has been inserted in the wooden block. Now you need instruction is coming on the screen that you have to click on the wood. So as soon as you click on the wood, this particular hall probe that would be inserted inside the between the two solenoids perpendicularly, right? Now you can choose the current through a slider button, and even though you can select the material like germanium, aluminum, copper, and gold, I'm choosing aluminum. Now you can choose the thickness. Now this is the thickness of the material which you are using, right? So you can choose the thickness of the material as well through a slider, and the hall current as well. Now click on show voltage. As soon as I click on show voltage, you can see over here 433.558, right? This is the voltage which I got. And now our main motto was to find the aim. So the result, as the result section, you can see a show result is option is coming over here. Simply click on the show result, and you will find to it will let you know the Hall's coefficient, which is 0.390, and the carrier concentration as well. Now if you want to again perform this particular experiment for the different values, what you can do, simply click on the reset option, and you can once again start this particular experiment. Now moving on to the next is the self-evaluation. After going to the simulator part, you have to go for the self-evaluation. We will click over here. Now for every question you will find 4 options given, like you have to opt appropriate answer, the right answer. Like I'm randomly selecting some of the answers and just going for the submit option. As soon as I click on submit, we will find whatever the right answers you have performed, that would be evaluated with a green tick, and whatever the wrong answers you have performed, that would be evaluated through a cross mark. After going to the self-evaluation part, you can refer to the assignment part. This is same as you perform the assignments in the real classes. So what you can do, as these assignments are given over here. You can just note it down, and you can just solve these particular questions and hand over to your HODs or faculty members. Moving on to the next is the references. So there are certain citations of the book given over here in the reference part, and the web links as well. You can refer these web links for further learning of this particular topic, or the theoretical, you can say the deep learning of the theories. After going to the reference part, you will refer to the feedback option. If you have any queries regarding this particular experiment, you can write down to us in the feedback section, so that we will sort out your queries you are having. Now we will move on to the next experiment, which is from electronics and communication discipline. What you have to do, simply go for the home button. Further scroll it down. We'll move on to the electronics and communication discipline. We'll start with the basics, then we will go for the advanced level. So again, ready to use lab, you can see over here. We will go for the Kirchhoff's law first of all. I hope everyone is knowing Kirchhoff's law. We have performed this particular experiment in first year, right? So you can see over here, electronic circuit lab, which is developed by Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. We will click over here. So again, ready to use experiments. Now for all of the experiment from now on, I am going to explore that simulator part only. So but you have to follow the template as well. For every of the experiment, you have to go for the theory session, text section, then you have to go for the procedure part, then again simulator, reference, self-evaluation, assignment, reference, then the feedback. A small description is also given over there, like somehow there are two theories, Kirchhoff's current law and the Kirchhoff's voltage law. So we are going to perform the voltage law, where it says that the algebraic sum of all IR drops and the EMF in any closed loop of a network must be 0, right? So you can see over here the theory section. We'll directly go to the simulator part, right? So again, it's asking to enable the Adobe Flash Player. Simply click over here. You will find an option given over here. Else, if you are not getting these options, simply follow the steps which I have told in earlier experiment. Now I will maximize the window first of all. So this is how the simulator looks like for this particular experiment. Now at the very right hand side of the screen, you will find three options given: visual, circuit, and the advanced option. In the visual option, you will find two options more, which is the select view. One is the lifelike and another one the schematic view. In the lifelike view, you can see the components, whatever the components are in the real life, but in schematic view, it's a symbolic representation, and whatever the components you see in the textbook representation. So as I choose the schematic, you can see the difference. Now I will choose again the lifelike view. Now if you're stuck somewhere in this particular experiment or making of a connection, you can simply click on the reset, circuit option and the reset option. So you can once again start this particular experiment. Now the advanced option, which I will refer while explaining this particular experiment, I will refer this particular tab as well. Now what you have to do for KVL, we are going to require these components. The first component which we are going to require is the battery. What you have to do, how you are going to take this particular battery, simply click, drag and drop. Now we'll require 3 resistors as well. We will require wires to adjoin these components. Now students, you can see for every component there are 2 terminals, right? Which is represented through a pink circle you can see over here. Now if you want to change the orientation of any of the component, what you can do, simply click on one terminal of that particular component and rotate it clockwise or anti-clockwise. Now, multiple things while performing the real lab, we make the mistakes, but over here in this particular platform, you can just check that particular mistakes. Like somehow we make a connection or the circuit in real lab and we are just not getting the output. Just because we are unable to make a proper connection. Like somehow we miss us particular junctions or certain points that does not gives you an exact value or the answer, right? But over here, like you can check the connection, whether the connection is established properly or not. As you can see, first of all, if I'm joining this particular component, the N terminal was pink color, right? But if the connection has happened successfully, that would be converted into black mark. See over here, you can see the change in color. This enables you that the connection has been properly established between these two components. I'm quickly making the connections. Now, if you want to see the value of these particular components, what you can do, simply click on the visual option and click on show values. So you will know what are the value of these particular components. But if you want to change the value of each of the component, what you can do, simply click on that particular component and you will redirect it to the advanced option automatically. As you click on this particular component and you will redirect it to the advanced option. Now, we also are aware about this particular thing that for each of the register value, there's a different color, bandwidth color for that particular register. So you can observe these particular bandwidth color change over here as well. As I'm choosing this particular resistance value, you can see the color bandwidth of this particular register is changing. Now what I'm going to do is that we will require a voltmeter, right? To check the value across the loop. So we will take a voltmeter.